What's up, you guys? Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com and FightfulMMA.com. A very late night update, an unfortunate late night update. UFC 226, the International Fight Week curse continues. Last year, it was Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw. It was Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko. The year before that, it was John Jones falling out of his planned fight with Daniel Cormier. It's gone on for years, really. Jose Aldo falling out of his fight against Conor McGregor the year before that happens again. Max Holloway is out of his planned UFC 226 featherweight championship defense against Brian Ortega due to concussion-like symptoms, according to his team. This story first reported by ESPN's Ariel Helwani. This is unfortunate, man, and he's a guy in Max Holloway who never pulled out of a UFC fight before 2018. And this year alone, really over the course of a half a year, has had to pull out of 3 fights. He had to pull out of the Edgar fight, had to pull out of the short notice fight that he took with Khabib Nurmagomedov, and then this one as well. The statement from Max Holloway's team reads, quote, Max's team and UFC staff noticed Max was not normal since late last week. It became obvious to many watching his interviews and public appearances the last few days. He was showing concussion-like symptoms before he even started his weight cut and was rushed to the ER Monday, where they admitted him overnight. Initial scans seemed okay, and he was released Tuesday afternoon, but symptoms still continued. Max fought with his team to continue with the fight. He showed some improvement over the next day, but was still showing obvious symptoms. After open workouts, he crashed and was very hard to wake up. When he did, he had flashing vision and slurred speech. He is now back in the ER for further tests, end quote. Man, this is a heartbreaker. Still a very good card, but the way that UFC likes to load up these International Fight Week cards, it's more as a fail-safe than actually loading up the card at this point. And Showdown Joe and I say it every Tuesday on the Holy Smokes MMA podcast. You never really know who's going to make it to a UFC fight these days. You just never know. Now, as it pertains to the title situation, they don't know. Brian Ortega's status has not been updated as of yet. Can't imagine that they would be able to find anything other than a bantamweight who was willing to not cut. Maybe a flyweight that was willing to not cut. You're not going to find many featherweights or that are going to be able to take a fight like that on a few days' notice. There's not a lot of guys that just walk around at that weight. So for Brian Ortega, who knows what this means? Just very, it's heartbreaking for him. It's heartbreaking for Holloway too. Holloway, a guy who's a gamer, was willing to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov on short notice, wasn't able to do it. So here we are. I have somebody in the chat saying Jeremy Stephens is ready. A lot of people will say that they're ready. A lot of people will claim that they want the fight. However, it's a matter of if they can get on weight. And I've not seen Jeremy Stephens tweet out anything of that nature. So we'll see. It's just it's unfortunate for the UFC too, because while it's still a good card, you have Gokhan Saki, Khalil Roundtree, Chiesa and Pettis, Ngannou Lewis, and then rounded out with Miocic Cormier. And you have some real decent fights on there. You have a Sun Tzu, you have Felder and Perry, Hall and Costa. You have some decent fights to throw on that UFC show. But man, another major UFC fight falls out. Another major title fight falls out. And it looks very much like the UFC will move forward with an 11-fight show. I'm not going to hate on that, but Max Holloway out of UFC 226. We will have live coverage and discussion. I will be doing a live post-show podcast breaking down that pay-per-view right after the New Japan G1 special podcast closes. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I want to know what you all think about this. Who would be able to replace Max Holloway? Is it even worth it? Should they just wait? This is a little bit different. Who knows if this contributes to the weight cut and they say, oh, it's before the weight cut. He started his weight cut. He started to diet down. He started all that stuff. We know this. People saying he looked super sleepy. He did. You could tell in his interviews something was up. I had somebody mention that to me yesterday on Twitter, I believe. They said, go watch Max Holloway's interview with, I wish I could remember who it was. But if he's crashing after media day, it's time to get him out. Guys, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a thumbs up. Of course, visit FightfulMMA.com. We have all your MMA news. Click that exclusives tab. You will have all kinds of interviews for this UFC 226 card by James Lynch, who is in Vegas for the show. Someone asked, he's concussed from the workouts. No, he was showing these symptoms well before. We will update you at Fightful.com with any additional news. Thank you, guys. We're out.